All right. Welcome, everybody, to Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. A new series brought to you by DJ the Money Coach. I'm Nick Westbrooks, your host. And we're going to just go ahead and jump into this conversation. And because the brothers were just talking offline, and they got a lot to say about this topic, and we're a little late this evening, so we want to go ahead and jump right in. So DJ, why don't you introduce, the brothers and the topics that we're going to get into?
Absolutely. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals. This is The Real Deal. I'm DJ the Money Coach, and this is a 4-generation, conversation every Thursday with, real men who are real free and are real integrity based. So we lead with our, elder statesman with Mr. Ron Harris from Ron Rick Corporation. What's going on, Ron?
Hey, Dale, it's beautiful to see all the beautiful brothers here tonight. Just like you said in the pre-show, we were talking about sports for young men and women. Brother Ryan over there, we was discussing things that his daughter's doing. And so it's going to be quite interesting tonight. I'm not going to be able to stay on too long tonight because they're doing a podcast down in the studio tonight, but I'm going to hang around for a while. Okay? Did I know?
Oh, cool. No problem at all. So that's the OG Ron Harris. Then we're going to come next with, the other Detroiter. We got Clarence Archibald in the house from Great Lakes Property Management Group. What's going on?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks. Welcome. Glad to be here. I think this is my first time jumping on with you guys, so I'm excited about having this conversation. I think I bring some a unique part of this particular conversation, so it's going to be good. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. And then the last person that stimulated this conversation is Ron B, railing out of Chicago land. What's going on, Ron? And let's get the conversation started about sports with children and decisions, brother.
Yes, let's get it.
Drop that question, brother.
I'm definitely going to drop it on you because I would imagine this has probably happened to folks that have kids that actually participate in sports specifically. It really doesn't matter what the sport is, but just sports specifically. And the question that I was asking myself, and it really stemmed from a weekend of activities where my daughter participates currently in 3 sports. So she's actively involved in volleyball, track, and cheer. And what's unique about that is in 2 of those sports, she competes at the varsity level as a freshman. So one of them is in track, and then the other one is cheer for high school. And then she does like a travel volleyball team. So I asked myself this question, and I don't want to spin it or shift the conversation in any particular way. I just really wanted to be open-ended because I'm really curious, because I'm not certain specifically which direction I want to go, but the question remains open-ended. When you have a child who participates in more than one sport, do you continue to support them in all 3 sports? Or do you ask them to narrow their focus with potentially becoming a master at one? So I don't have an answer to that question just yet. I'm curious about the feedback because my guess is some are going through this process, some haven't gone through it. And your input will help me kind of determine the type of conversation I'm going to have with my daughter. So I'm open to it.
So who wanted to jump in first?
Well, I guess I'll jump in because I'm kind of, again, I think I have a unique spot amongst us. And my son just completed what I'll call the cycle, which started in kindergarten and worked his way all the way through 4 years of college. So, of course, and we'll talk about that, Dale, a lot of money was spent, a lot of time was spent, a lot of energy was spent, lots of travel, all the things that you go through when you're playing. My son, too, Ron, he played basketball and was on varsity as a freshman. But early on, he was playing basketball, baseball, football. You know, the three normal ones. You know, your daughter's on some different stuff. You know, you in the suburbs now, so you know we try different kind of stuff, right? So you know,
and I got a girl.
Yeah, and you got a girl, right?
Yes,
but you know, he was playing all of them, and I was once upon a lifetime a fairly good baseball player. I actually got drafted to go and play. Didn't go. Went to college, but when my son played baseball, unfortunately, he didn't have the goods. He loved baseball though, but he didn't have the goods, and so I let him play. I mean, I knew it wasn't going anywhere. I let him play until he figured out he didn't have the goods, which it didn't take him very long. Then football.
What year was that, Clarence? Do you think, if you recall?
He figured it out probably about 7th, 8th grade. You know, so I mean, he played for a couple years, and I mean, he probably still today he thinks that he was a good baseball player, but that wasn't the case. I every now and then I tell him that wasn't the case, you know. So, but he kind of, it was a thing of when you have a athlete that's at a high level, they figure out what they're good at and what they're not good at. And then the second thing was on the football field, and we just had this talk, which is funny. Probably last week, he said he was ready to quit because he wasn't getting playing time. He actually was on the same team. If you guys, KJ, that went to Penn State, that just went pro. Yeah, he was on the same team. He was the backup player to KJ. And so as you can imagine, KJ been good since he was real young. And what wound up happening is he was a backup player. So, of course, he didn't get a lot of time. And so he wanted to quit. Well, we didn't let him quit. My son said, if y'all had to let me quit, I'd have went and played on another team and I'd probably be a football pro right now. You know, so we had him play. And, you know, at that point, you know, again, he looked at the success he was having in basketball. He looked at the fact that he wasn't that great in baseball, and then in football, he saw the level of I got to remember KJ's last name, but he saw KJ's level and understood that, man, if I'm going to be good at something, I got to, you know, this is the direction I'm going, and so that's kind of how we got him to take that basketball route. And then at that point, I'd say really by his freshman year. You know, we just let him go. And by freshman year, he kind of made a decision that basketball was going to be the direction, and then the focus was there. But the one thing I do want to do in this conversation, and this is for the parents that are out there listening, one, be realistic. There are, 40, 50 high schools in every city. Each team has X number of players on it. And to go and play at the pro level, there's only so many spots. You know, NBA, guess what? Everybody wants to go to the NBA. Here's the reality. There's only 26 spots in the first round and 26 in the second round. And pretty much if you go too much further than that, it doesn't really matter, right? So you're talking about 52 players out of 50 states and the international market now. So the chances of going to play in the NBA are slimmer than ever they've been. And so what I told my players, because I also used to coach, and what I always told my players was this: let's utilize this basketball to get you a free education. Let's utilize this basketball to get a free education. Now, I had one or two players that actually had the goods that I thought could play at the next level. And those are the players that I kind of told them, hey, look, you might be okay to play at the next level. But 98% of the kids that I coach, it was always use it to go to college, because here's a net of it. And you're going to get into this conversation soon, Ron. Watch. D1 or nothing. D1 or nothing. If I can't go to a D1 school, I don't want to do it. Yeah. And the reality is guess what? Whether you go to a D1, NAIA, D2, D3, whatever. My son wound up at an NAIA school up in Chicago, Roosevelt University. Guess what? He got a great education.
Absolutely. And got to play basketball.
And he got to play basketball. But had he won D1, guess what? When he graduated, he still wouldn't be playing basketball. He'd still be working. It just so happened he works for my company. He's my my director of operations. But guess what? If he had to play D2, he still wouldn't be in the NBA. If he had played D1, he wouldn't be in the NBA.
Yeah.
The reality is he played at the level that allowed him to have a great experience and get a great education.
Yeah.
That's part of the conversation too, that you're going to start. I don't know if your daughter's starting that yet, but that I'm just preparing you that it's coming, because if she's a freshman on varsity, there's going to be, all the varsity players are already talking about going D1 because everybody want to go D1. So that's something to really think about. So I hope that kind of gives you some insight of the process, you know, and as you get ready to talk to your daughter, and I think as people that are out there that are listening, as you're talking to your kids, set some realistic expectations. I'm of the opinion that there's scholarships, there's colleges all over the country that are looking for people. And I just believe if you're committed and I've seen some of the players on some of the teams, if you're committed, there's a team that's out there for you. It might be JUCO. So what?
Yeah.
Hey, wouldn't it be nice if your daughter could get a free associate's degree?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice? What do 2 years,
Absolutely.
Dale, you the money man, what do 2 years of first 2 years of college
Absolutely.
cost most families?
First 2 years of a regular college or a community college?
Whatever
Community
one you
college.
want to use.
Yeah.
What is it called? Does it matter if you get your associate degree from a community college or regular college?
$5,000. So I guess you'd be talking to the wrong person about getting a degree then in every.
Well, no, I'm saying this.
Even though I'm the money man, that would be a whole different conversation because I would be like, nope, not going there.
Well, you know, not everybody kid is, you know, in eighth grade and already cum laude.
That's why I said, because this platform we on, the age of technology and information, unless you're going to be an engineer or a doctor, I don't see why you need to go to a university. And I firmly believe in education. I
agree with you.
Specify education. So Ron, what do you say to that, Ron Harris?
I would say that. I mean, there's only certain things that you can really get a degree in today and really make some real money. I mean, the real money is really learning how to be an entrepreneur today. And that's why you have so many kids that's going to school, but they go there and they meet people that they can connect with to put a business together. I mean, that's why you have so many billionaires today that dropped out of college because of the fact that they had the skills that they didn't see the use of getting a formal education. And I think kids should go to school. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't, but like you said, Dale, you can only major in certain curriculars that's going to really make you some real money.
Mm-hmm. If it's about playing a sport to get it, then I got to say, if it's under D2 NAIA, I'm not recommending just because you love to play the sport to go to a community college. So I'd have to firmly disagree with you on that, Clarence, because again, with the age of technology, if that's your trick, your only road to get, college tuition, and mind you, we're speaking from a whole different perspective because we don't really have that struggle. So if you're watching this right now and you don't have resources and your child needs to get an education, then your child should get the best education they possibly can afford. And if they have some gift, be it playing a piano, violin, or running track, or playing volleyball, then I say take the best opportunity. And from a money perspective, I'm gonna put the numbers down on the paper and say, if we go this route, what's the investment? And again, what's the return on investment? How many years? What my commitment is? But to tune in the back what Clarence was saying, in your situation, Ron B, I mean, at that age, again, your child has an embarrassment of riches. So we grew up, Clarence and I grew up in the same community for a few years. And I went from being middle class to lower middle class because got divorced. And during what time we grew up, it was play whatever was in season. But also, like Clarence said, your daughter, and if anybody else, your child knows what they can be better than anybody out in whatever sport. I played baseball, just like Clarence. I played college baseball, could have went pro. I bowled. I qualified as a professional bowler, won a state championship in bowling, only one my high school ever won. I bowled on my college team. I was good at football, but I was too small, and I was on the swim team. But when I looked at everything in terms of what my passion and my ability to go and be the best at it, it boiled down to baseball and bowling. And actually, I was a better bowler than I was a baseball player, but because I couldn't see into the future that bowlers will make $1 million a year like they do now with sponsorship, I stopped bowling and I focused on baseball. And then when I partied my way out of my first school, I stopped playing baseball. Then I went back to bowling and I started bowling for gambling. So I bowled for money. I knew what I could be better at than anybody else if I put my time in. And I'm a petite guy. You know, I'm 5'6", $160 on my best day. So I got to think, here's the problem. The conundrum for you and the conundrum for anybody come from a professional income household is the guilt they feel that they're not providing their child with everything their child just, you know, fancies. I think that is a freaking, you know, fantasy dream. Because again, you just said travel volleyball. You didn't say y'all play. So that means you're spending money to go here, there, and everywhere. And then track is a travel sport all in of itself. So when I'm adding up the money, I'm going to say, hey, daughter, I got 2 daughters, 8 and 12. And I'm just going to say, which one you going to be really looking at, you're going to be on TV one day. And the other ones, we got these community sports that you are content. Mom and dad can show up and it's a 8-week season sometime, a 12-week season. You get it out, you got your fix. But if you think you're going to be D1, D2 in all these sports and you ain't freakishly athletic where you can take, you know what I say, in baseball, Clarence attested it. We had cats that came from the track team that got on the baseball team just to give us speed, but couldn't hit a lick. But once they tapped the ball, dude, they score. Yeah. And the scouts come looking at them, but they were not ball players, just like track guys go play football. They can run, you know, 4.2, but they can't catch and they don't take no contact. Because they got freakish speed, they're going to always get looked at, but they don't possess the skill or the mentality to go when it ain't easy because you got to put that work in. So what you have to be able to do is have that conversation sooner than later with your daughter and say, I get it, babe. I get it. I understand you like doing this volleyball thing. I understand you don't love track, but do you get any, you know, reward feeling when you just better than everybody? And if you're a freshman playing at the senior level, that means that you probably got potential. Not only go D1, you probably could be a pro at this if we just put the work in and you can play that other stuff. Because here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a day, daughter, that you just going to come to us and be like, I don't want to play that no more. And a lot of times it's because their friends doing something else. And I didn't never understand that when we grew up.
Right. Yeah. Because we've had that conversation.
I really can't get down with that when I'm selling out that dope.
Hey, Del, excuse me, but I'm about to leave right Ron. Now, and I got another commitment. But it's beautiful. I'll see you guys next week, man.
Cool.
Okay, Ron.
Sure. Okay.
Ron.
Good.
Yeah, man. So you could you know take it from there. I mean, it's a tough thing, but the more you let it linger, and you already know, and she knows. Here's one thing we make mistakes with children. We don't treat them at the maturity level that they already are. We try to be patronizing and condescending, even though we don't intend to be that way. But I come from the school of hard knocks that, you know what, the sooner I know reality, the better I'm gonna be at making, you know, a best life for myself.
I think part of it though comes from too, and I'm not sure where Ron is at, but you know, you and I are both, you know, really first generation to quote unquote, to get out, so to speak, or to make it, however way you want to position it. So I don't know where Ron is at, if you're first generation or not. But you know, there was things, of course, guess what? The reason why we played football, basketball, and baseball was what? Football season, we all had our equipment from our high school, so we could play football.
We borrowed
you know, baseball, guess what? We had the baseball bats and stuff from our school. You know, so it was a natural progression of why we played those different sports at those different times. And so I think now as we have a little bit of money, and so when our kids ask us for stuff, you know, we tend to get it for them. I just did a post on Facebook and got a lot of laughs and some interesting comments. My grandson was over the weekend, and I got a package in one of those little like paper towel holders, but it was a little longer. It came in a sleeve, right?
Right.
Man, I get that kid came
sliced bread. Man,
he played with that toy all weekend long. And his brother tore it and he cried. I mean, I'm not talking about like fake tears. He cried to where, you know what I had to do? I had to go get a roll of paper towels, and take the paper towels off to give him a little smaller one. And he was like, man, this shorter, but this will work. And you know what? And he played and played and played with that thing.
Yeah.
But as parents with a little money, I told him, I said, most parents want to buy their kids a PS5 or PS8 and an Xbox 5, spending $500-$600. This is what the kids want to play with. Chase his brother around my house so much that my wife put him out almost. It was just, we forget that. Yeah, it was just, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so we tend to try to buy them things that we didn't have, which I understand. I remember my daughter growing up, and you know what? She had the best cell phones. She always had all the nice clothes. And one day I caught her doing what the girls I didn't like in high school was doing. She was in there bragging about what she had and this and that. And I told her, I said, don't ever do that again, because understand what you have has nothing to do with you. What they have has nothing to do with them.
Good point.
And I told her, if I catch you again, I'm gonna pack all of your name brand clothes up, and I'm gonna find one of them to give it to.
Ooh, I know she didn't like that.
No, she didn't, but she understood, because I used to hate those girls in high school. They would be the, hey, I had to buy the, let's see how old school Nick ain't.
Well, you know what they became? They became the housewives of Atlanta. Housewives.
No, you know what? Not really. You know what?
The hip hop housewives.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, they're okay. From my high school, I'll say they were okay.
Yeah. You know what? They end up on World Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you say, not mine. But
let's keep it real. This is real, baby.
But what I was gonna say though is, I used to have to wear the Levi jeans with the Levi cut off of it. You remember that, Ron?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was saying Nick don't know nothing about that.
Nah.
But that was what Dale wore, the real Levi's, by the way. But
absolutely.
But he was.
I had tough skins. You probably don't even remember what tough skins were with the knee patches.
I had tough skins. I had the replacement patches for the tough skins. What you talking about? So. What
was those? The Legrand, what they call those fake? What was it?
You talking about the tough skins?
No, the polo shirts with the little animals, the Legranimals.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Because we wanted that. Remember when we grew up, Izod was the stuff.
Right.
I had Izod. Well,
Absolutely.
you know what? I couldn't get an Izod. I had to get the one that Dale talking about.
The Granimals, man. I'm telling you.
The Granimals.
And so I used to, I would get to school and people would crack jokes or whatever. And you know what? We want to make sure that our kids don't have to go through that. And so we have the money to buy them those other things. And so as a parent, getting back onto the sports thing, when they start saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, we just like, hey, okay, man, you know what? Guess what? My parents couldn't do travel baseball. I don't know if you remember Mr. Mosley with the Saints.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was we had a guy that sponsored the team, because none of us could. I don't know if Dale paid or not, but I can tell you this: me and my brother and most of the people I know, we didn't pay. We used to have to go collect cans and we'd be able to go play in the league. Well, we don't want our kids to have to do that. We just want them to be able to go and play.
Yeah.
And so and that's
okay.
Taking
all the struggle away from them.
Yeah.
And it's just like with the caterpillar, gets into the cocoon, and then you want to help them out. So back to, talk about your daughter, Ron. Yeah, it's only a tough decision, but again, and she know. And if you approach it that way, the sooner, again, you elevate her, because you treat her at a level of respect that most people are going to try to treat her like a little kid when she's not, because she's already playing big girl sports, because she's on varsity at a freshman.
Yeah.
So she
varsity coach not babying her at all.
The quality of competition. And I don't care, again, if you're 5'2", what's the likelihood? And you can point to one person.
Yeah.
It's one person, but you know what? That's 1 in a billion. And I ain't saying you can't be that person, babe. No. But the likelihood that you are going to be that person is very narrow. And that means if you are, then you still can't play this other sport.
Not at all.
You got to focus even more on it.
Yeah, see, and here's what I've heard from both you and Clarence Dell. Like, the one thing which I'm curious to know is if she arrives at that conclusion without me bringing it to our attention, right? Because to your point, we've raised mature kids, but they're still kids, right?
Right. They
And
still too.
clearly, we still know better. And like you said, you'll hate me now, but you love me later. So there's a piece of that that's always involved in the conversation. So I'm wondering, when I do have that conversation, if she arrives at the same conclusion without me even saying a word. But I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And then the other thing, which is also relevant, Clarence, to the point that you made, and I'll speak for myself again, is kind of growing up in St. Louis, Missouri, underserved community. We couldn't afford, the same luxuries to go to these camps across the country and participate in AAU. That was for like the upper class of families that could afford to do those things. So for us, we played sports year round, and whatever was in season, that's what we did. And so I grew up, even before I had kids, saying the same thing. I said, what? I'm not going to narrow my kids' focus. No way. I want them to be well-rounded. If they have an interest in volleyball, track, or cheer, I'm going to let them do it, and I'm going to support it, right? Because you never really know what you're naturally going to gravitate to. So go ahead and do that. But we all know that times have changed, right? It's just the playing field is no longer even, because again, people have made the tough decision and narrow their kids' focus and say, look, whatever that decision is, it's you're awesome at this sport, so we're going to narrow your focus, or the economics. Look, we can't afford to have you participate in whatever situation led them to the point where they said, one sport. I now realize she cannot compete with someone who does a sport for 12 months and she does that one sport 2.5 months out of the year. It's just not going to happen unless, Dell, to your point, she's like this freakish, gifted person, and she's not that. She's
and you still got to have a basketball
age,
too.
but not
That's going to level
freakishly
off.
gifted. Right, but not freakishly gifted, right? So she's got the ability to kind of really narrow her focus. And Clarence, which I love what you said, and I hadn't really thought about it that way. It's, what sport is that'll get you through college, right? That can afford you some form of a scholarship that gets you through college and allows you to play the sport. Like, if I position it to her that way, she'll probably receive it a little better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here's the other thing I would say too. One of my best friends played college football, and based on his college football, it allowed for him to do some networking. One of the boosters from his school, any of the football players that wanted to, he would send them to get their MBA. And then once they got their MBA, they would come and work for the company, And so that relationship, and that's one of the things that, like, I'm watching with my son, and I always told him, I said, hey, you know what? Play, because you're going to meet, first of all, some of the teammates that he's got are doing some, oh my gosh, they're doing some phenomenal things in technology and business and sales and all over the place. And so he's got contacts now across the country that are doing everything from, rap videos to selling on Wall Street, to, running their own businesses, to one of the guys is out in California shooting movies, so
you're
all over the place. And then of course the coach is there as well. And a lot, just, that those networking, because I know that's what we were supposed to talk about a little bit today, but that part of it is what also makes it worth going to college, because now he's got an alumni, not only the school alumni, but he's got the basketball alumni.
Absolutely.
Man, and that's huge.
Yes, that's huge. And it's an exclusive club.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. So hey guys, with that said, we're gonna take a word from our sponsors, and we're gonna come right back. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy, and this is a great ad-lib topic talking about your child in sports from zero to college to pro. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsor. Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach. Don't touch that dial. You want to become financially independent? You want to have consumer debt freedom? You want to have passive income, learn how to build a business, acquire real estate, and achieve the lifestyle you deserve in 2021? Well, hit that link below right now. We've worked with over 20,000 people in the past 2 decades, helping them become consumer debt free, increase their credit scores by 30 to 60 points in 30 days or less, and help them acquire businesses through real estate, taxes, and a network of experts just like me. So you'll get a complete 3-hour, 18-module course called Family Finance 101 that'll teach you A to Z how to become consumer debt free, credit worthy, and it puts you in position to become a certified entrepreneur. We'll also give you a complimentary consultation with me that's a $500 value. Why would you want to do that? Because I have already achieved that, and I can help you achieve your American dream in 2021. Hit the link below, get the free webinar and the complimentary consultation, and I'll see you soon and wish you a pom-pom lifestyle that's plenty of money and peace of mind. Come join us.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth, it's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com. Promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Now, let's start the show.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. Today's topic is an ad lib. We're originally talking about networking, integrity, and relationships. And this actually goes right back to relationships. We're actually now talking about, sports. And when do you give your child, that tough, talk about reality of, is this going to be a career? Or is this going to get you an education? Or is this going to be recreational? And we're looking at it from totally 4 different, perspectives and different lens, from people who grew up in poverty, people who grew up working class, middle class, and people grew up affluent and had 1-parent household or 2-parent households. And so we want to give a whole perspective on this paradigm of what's that conversation looks like and how to help your child get through the process of reality so that they'll have a best full-rounded life as a child to adolescence to adulthood. So with that, I want to jump in and hear what Nick has to say, because another value of the show is we're reaching this from 4 different generations. We're reaching from people in the 70s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, and the 20s. So Nick, what's your perspective on this? I know you played a couple of sports, and how did your parents go about talking to you in regards to sports? Because you played a couple of sports as well. So chime in and talk to us about your experience as well.
Yeah, of course. So I played sports all throughout my childhood. I think I started at age 7, as soon as I was old enough to play sports. And I guess the most important thing was being active year round, so making sure I was playing the sport every season. So it was soccer in the fall, because recreational football games were always on Sunday, and I had to go to church, so I couldn't play football. So soccer in the fall, basketball in the winter, and baseball in the spring. And then, so I did that all through my elementary school years up until high school. High school is when I really started to narrow it down. So I knew that basketball was my favorite sport out of all of those. So basketball was the main thing that I focused on. So the other sports that I chose, they were mainly sports to again, keep me active and then keep my body conditioned and in shape, year round. So instead of playing soccer, I switched to cross country in the fall and track in the spring. So once I got into high school, I found that even though basketball was my favorite sport, I was actually better at running. I was better at cross country and track. So as a freshman, I actually made the varsity squad for both cross country and track. While for basketball, I played on the freshman squad and I got a little bit of a JV burn, towards the end of the season.
Right on.
So at that time, this really came from my own decision, not so much my parents. I decided to switch completely to running with the thought that I would do this in college and have this pay for my college education. But the ironic thing about it was I didn't play any sports in college. So that, it was.
I told you, they just changed on you, Ron.
Right.
Yeah. That's how kids do. That's how kids do.
Right.
For one, and the reasons being, for one, I saw that high school athletics and college athletics were two completely different worlds.
Oh yeah.
It's a job.
High school sports.
Let's just be real about it. It's a job, man. Even more so today.
High school sports was it was hard, especially at the first few weeks of the season. But like DJ just said, playing sports in college is a full-time job. Like you're working out, training multiple times a day. And I'm like, do I really want to do that? And then another factor was the type of school that I went to also. So being that I wasn't, I would say I was average, in high school. I was an average athlete. I was good to where, I would win races during the dual meets, but when we got to championship season, when we were going against other schools in the state and in the conference, I was just an average runner, there. So I didn't really have my pick of choice of schools to go to. So if I ended up going, strictly on an athletic scholarship, it would have been at a school that I had no interest in going to. So so that may not have been the best decision financially, but I was definitely happier with taking out all those loans. But that was me at 18, making that decision. And then as far as my parents' perspective on the financial side, my father, he said, just let him go to school where he wants to go, no matter how much it costs, so he's happy. And so he's not, so he doesn't stay home in New Jersey and get caught up in all the nonsense that's going on here. Let him go away to where he wants to go, so he can so he can get away and have the experience that he wants. So like I said, that wasn't the best decision financially, but it comes down to what's most important to you, as a parent and as a child.
Yeah. See, and that goes back to what Clarence was saying too, is, we want to be able to afford our kids a lifestyle that was better than ours, right? And we're willing to make certain financial sacrifices to do that for them. So for your father, it wasn't a question. It was, maybe I didn't have that choice. Maybe I didn't even go to college. So if my son wants to pursue that, I'm going to support wherever he chooses to go. And whatever that financial commitment is, we're going to figure it out. Because the last thing I want to say to him is, I can't afford it. Because there's a level of embarrassment there too, you know what I'm saying? And then there's a level of, pride kind of kicking in and saying, look, again, I was not afforded this opportunity. And because of that, I'm going to promise my son that. So let him choose whatever school he wants to go to. So that I respect. Then the other thing, which I learned too, Nick, is there's levels to this thing, man. There's levels between college and high school athletics.
It's a
right?
business, man.
I mean, it is levels. And if you are not
Let's address that
committed,
elephant in the room.
yeah,
It's a business at
truly,
7th and 8th grade.
yeah,
I mean, see, here's the problem with America. We have made recreational sports a business because here's what you find out. Those guys and gals who couldn't make it, they want to prove that they can coach people up. Am I lying, Clarence? Because Clarence is coach. I've coached baseball. I've been coaching kids from age 6 to 14 for the last 10 years. And it never ceased to amaze me. That person that's coaching is trying to live vicariously to prove that, you know what, we can win at this level. But here's the reality, man. Those people, then they see the economics, especially in professional communities. I was just talking to a guy last week when Ben and Coda came down that was playing select baseball. And he told me, man, now coaches are getting $90 an hour to train people for baseball hitting lessons for kids at 7 to 15 years of age. He told me last year he made $120 grand doing coaching. And check this out. The guy that used to train my sons who played in the MLB, it would be like, okay, so when we lived in Roseland, he would live like in Oak Park. So we lived in Rose. He said, hey man, he said, Dale, you live in Oak Park. And do you know that those parents will pay you $25 an hour to coach their kids? And he said, and if you got any type of semblance that you can prove you played the sport in college, they'll pay you $45 an hour. He said, man, if I were you, I'd just start showcasing my son and start coaching. And I was like, really? And sure enough, started taking my son out there. Man, who trains your son? Oh, I do. Next thing I know, I got people lining up, paying me $45. I got up to $75 an hour, bro. To the fact that I put on 7 summer conferences, camps. And because of the pandemic, and when my youngest son quit, I stopped playing. And I look back, dude, was making a grip.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I had this past year, I had 30 people calling me. Coach DJ, can you come train my 8-year-old? He gonna play high school baseball. It's a racket, brother.
Oh yeah,
it is.
If you ain't really trying to help them, it is a racket where it's become a lifestyle for the person that was mediocre. Now they out there ruining your kid, telling them stuff that don't even work, but they get in the bag and they really don't care about your daughter or your son's performance.
Right.
And that's what America has become. It's become elitism at every sport.
No, it's like that though, because here's what I think about. And I don't want to sound off-putting, but let me kind of piggyback on that, but I'm gonna spin it using AAU sports as an example, right? So before my kids were old enough to participate in AAU.
Hey, let me interject real quick.
Yep.
Because they recruit and they out at these parks and everything looking for your kid. They came after Rodney and Clarence North at 9 years of age.
Yep.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying.
So back to you.
I'm gonna lead you down that path. So a father who had a son who wanted to play basketball, and he wanted to play basketball because of his height, and he had friends that played the sport, right? So the idea was, let me put my son in AAU sports because in theory, the competition level is at the highest. He'll get the certain level of training to elevate his skills. He'll get this exposure, all the other perks associated with traveling, networking, all that stuff, right? And at the end of his high school year, we just had a small conversation over lunch because I actually worked for him as one of my managers at the time. And I said, well, hey, your son's done playing basketball. Is he going to play in college? And he's like, no, Ron, he wasn't that good. I was like, what do you mean he wasn't that good? And I said, didn't he play AAU? You know, as soon as he could, he was like, yeah, Ron. He said, but you know, in hindsight, 2020, what I would have done is I would have gotten him some private lessons and had him work on his skills, because what I found out was what you just said, Dale. I sent him to this AAU. He played on this amazing team and he never played.
Oh, wow.
Right. So he was spending all of this money, right? Investing in his child, showing up at all of these different events across the country and watching his son play less than 5 minutes a game. Right. So it really didn't develop him.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? So he's saying, man, I really felt like I didn't get my money's worth. No, sir, you did not. You know, right? No, sir, you didn't.
Well, Ron, I'm going to tell you the one thing about it, and this is for a lot of parents out there. You have to put your kid on a team where they can play. It doesn't matter if you're on an elite team and you don't play. Your child needs to be on a team that they're going to get playing time. At the end of the day, guess what? Even if they're on a community and they got a community AAU teams too, because again, it's a business. But
yeah,
at least if they're on that community team, they're going to be playing. They're going to have a time to shine. And you know what? At the end of the day, guess what? If that's the level at which they can play at, then you know that they're probably not going to be playing at the college level anyway.
agreed.
You know, so that's the
cheaters, brother.
that parents have to be
AAA, and Premier.
Yeah. And I think what Dale said is parents have to be realistic about, you know, their kids. You know, if you're on the system is going to tell you where your child is at.
Absolutely.
Quick.
You know, like your daughter is
because
on
they get
varsity
paid.
right
They
now.
don't perform as a coach organization, they get fired, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, if your daughter's on varsity as a freshman, if she's on varsity and she's not, well, it's track, you know, but let's say she was on varsity and on the volleyball as a freshman. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
If she's on varsity but she's not playing, that is like one of the things what my son was doing his freshman year. The coach was trying to bring him up varsity pretty early, and I had a talk with the coach. I said, "Hey, look, you know what? I want him to get stick time. Let's leave him on JV because he never did.
Yeah.
I said, let's leave him on JV, and he's going to start. I mean, he was playing basically 36 out of 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So he got about 8 games in, and then finally the varsity coach came to me and said, hey, you know, your son got 2 choices. He can play on varsity or he can't play on our teams at all. And of course, at that point, we moved him to varsity. Well, the varsity needed him. But when he came to varsity, he came up and he was still getting 24, 25, 26 minutes. So now it makes sense for him to be on varsity.
Yeah, agreed.
You know? And so,
agreed.
And then just to wrap this story up, when he went to college, he went to U of M Dearborn his freshman year. And guess what he told mom and dad?
What?
We went and talked to the coach. The coach was like, yeah, man, we'd like to have you, right? He gets there and he's like, I'm not playing. He was like, yeah, I don't really like the coach. It was like, and there was a couple of his players that we had played AAU ball with that was on the team. So we were like, you know, we was like, oh, he gonna play. We ain't worried about it. He gonna play. You know,
yeah.
Once such and such started talking to him, he gonna come along. Freshman year came and went. He didn't play. And we was like, oh my gosh, really? We you know, we had been from kindergarten all through high school and did all the AAU traveling. I'm talking like, you know, in 8th grade, we in Disney World.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know, hey, we're in Vegas and, you know, all over the country, and he didn't play. So, you know, we were like, wow. But you know what? One of the things that we had to do as parents was realize that we did it for the child, not for ourselves.
Right.
Agree.
And that was what he wanted to do, not what we wanted to do. And so
Absolutely.
we just accepted it. And then it was interesting because we at first we were like, man, I know you're gonna play, man. Call the coach. I was on them, you know, because again, at that point I was coaching AAU. A lot of coaches were calling me and things like that. And they're like, man, you mean your son is not playing? What's going on? And I was like, hey, he just made a decision. I said, I guess he's tired. You know, he's been playing since kindergarten, you know, at a high level. You know, we literally started 4th grade was when we started AAU travel. So he went from 4th grade all the way through high school.
Yeah.
That's funny you said that because I did that with my youngest son.
Yeah.
Started him because I was like, dude, we're not doing this select baseball. We're going to play Little League. We're going to play Pony League. But as you start seeing the level of competition and the talent that your kid had and the skill set, it was like, man, we're wasting our time down here at the community league. We got to play up to continue to stretch and grow them. So my oldest son, we didn't play select baseball for him till he got like 11, 12 years of age. But my youngest son, he started playing select baseball, man, at 7.
Right.
Gotcha.
He had the skills developed, and he was playing at 7, playing with 10, 11-year-olds. But the same thing, it's a commitment, man. And like Clarence said, if my sons weren't playing at the highest level for the varsity, we moved down because you got to get them reps.
Got to get playing.
Yeah.
You got to get them reps, man. Nothing changes from that. You got to get the reps. So going back to your daughter, this is where you say, hey, well, check it out, baby. If you didn't like your performance, again, look at what these girls are doing over here, full-time in this sport, and you're full-time in that sport, and you're part-time in this one. Yeah. Really, are you going to be able to just step in and get it happen? That's very unusual that occurs. So let's just figure out not only time and money, but the best return for you to be well developed and knowing that you get your confidence elevated every time in defeat. Because even in defeat, you can do your best is what I always tell my kids. Hey, I want your best every time. You don't have to win, but if we got better every time out, that's a W, baby.
Yeah.
Hey Ron, I know the answer to this
W. Now we got to dominate because we got to stretch that bar.
Yeah.
Ron, I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it for the people that are out there. But if your daughter never plays sports again, is she going to college?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the resources are there for her to go, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's so again, I've said that for a reason, because in your daughter's case, you can really have the real conversation with her, like, hey, what are you thinking about these sports? I mean, are you trying to play college sports? You know, you can just ask her on a more of a friendlier level. You know, I was coaching when my son was coming up, I was coaching in the inner city. My wife and I had to pay for a lot of the other kids to play. And so the conversation was honest and truthfully, and that's why it goes back. I know Dale disagree with me, but it was most of the kids, in order for them to go to college, that basketball had to take them there. Yeah. Now, the exciting part is we had a bunch of them that it did. So, but if the basketball didn't take them to college, you know where they were going to be at?
Community college.
No, they weren't going to be there either. They were going to be basically
on the street corner.
Now, I don't want to say on the street corner, but they would just go and live a normal. The good thing is we're in Michigan, so you know, hey, they go work at a plant or something like that. You know,
I thought you were talking about when we were growing up.
No. I'm talking about the kids that I was coaching along with my son.
Oh, okay,
That was the message that we knew that their parents didn't have the resources to send them to college.
Understood.
And so, so most of these kids, if they didn't go and play basketball, they probably wouldn't go to college. Some of them weren't going to go because they didn't even have the people pushing them. You know, we were talking, and I know by 6th grade, we were already talking to my kids. Anybody that was on my coaching team, the conversation wasn't what high school you were going to, it was what college you were going to.
Absolutely. And that's rock star.
Most of the families, they you know what? They were excited for their kids to just graduate from high school. So the reason I bring that up is when you start having a conversation, if you're in a position, if we're talking to folks that are in a financial position to be able to send their kids to all these AAU camps and all this kind of stuff, the real question I ask them is, hey, is this something you want to do in college? If not, man, hey, let's go play on the local volleyball team, run track for the school. And sometimes you have a local track team that you can run with, you know what I'm saying? The other sport that your daughter is doing, you know what I'm saying? We can do all that stuff local. We don't have to travel around the country.
Exactly.
Unless, hey, here's the other side of the coin. Unless, and this was great for my family, we traveled and it gave my wife and I a chance to, hey, how's it going there, Leonard? My wife and I, it gave us a chance to, guess what? That was vacation for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, right. That's the way we do it.
I never would have seen Disney's Wild World of Sports. You know, we got to play on the Nike court.
Right.
That Michael Jordan basically made, you might well say. I would have never seen that court. So for us, it was more of an experience.
Right.
So again,
That's something you're gonna be able to talk about for the rest of your life.
And
Again,
that's the thing,
you gotta
Ron,
have a conversation with your
yeah.
daughter
and
and
find
break
out
it down. Hey, you know, we're in this income bracket. It is what it, and you know that.
Right.
So let's be, you know, wise about the decision, because just like Clarence said, that's why I determined for my sons, and that my daughters don't play any AAU, any select. My daughters are very talented, but it's like, hey, if you really want to do soccer and volleyball, again, let's kick the tires over at the community.
Yeah.
Let's kick the tires to now you got that commitment, and we really gonna do it. And then we're gonna, you know, schedule our vacations around it, because again, I mean, just traveling around these little towns, dude, it's time consuming, and you ain't getting it back. And then your child gonna come up to you, I just ain't feeling this no more. I mean,
Yeah.
But again, Dale, it's kind of cool.
Or the friends are doing something totally different, and they don't want to be standing out from them, and they still got confidence in themselves, but still, they still have a little bit of peer pressure. And that one day, my son literally came to me. My son, I mean, y'all know, I used to see y'all videos, The Crusher. My son at 13 was playing against 15, 16-year-olds and killing it. And one day he came to me at the end of December of 2019, and he came downstairs. He said, Dad, I got to talk to you. And we had just won a national championship, well, Southwestern championship. This ring that I wear is the last championship where we won the whole thing, 3 states. He playing 13 against 15, 16-year-olds.
That's
He
dope.
said, hey, Dad, I got to talk to you. And I always quoted to him that line out of, what is it, Will Smith and his son. What's that? The movie that he played with his son.
I know which one you're talking about. The guy from Chicago, the stockbroker.
Yeah, what is the name of that movie?
Yeah, Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, so Pursuit of Happiness. So that scene up on top of the roof when he got the basketball and he's frustrated and he grabs the basketball from him and he throws it and his son starts crying and then he catches himself. He said, you know what, son? Let me share something with you. Don't ever let anybody steal your dream, including me. And when I saw that movie, I told my kids, I said, I don't want you playing this sport because you think Dad wants you to play it. So at any point in time that you want to quit, come to me. And if you show me what else you want to do, that you want to have fulfillment, I'm going to be with you 100%, even if it's tiddlywinks. So my son took that to heart and he just came to me again, after we just won a major Southwestern 3-state championship. We got people already recruiting him for high school at 12, 13 years of age. Hey, Dad, I don't want to play baseball no more.
Yeah. So, Ron, if she comes and say, Dad, I need to talk to you right after the championship, tell her, no, I don't want to hear it.
Right. So here's what happened. So I said, okay. I said, cool, man. Because I already had the experience with my older son. And I said, well, what's the game plan? Oh, Dad, you know what? I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to become a YouTuber. I said, hey, if you're going to do YouTube, you bring that same discipline, that same go-getter attitude to it. And I'm going to give you all the resources. And now let's go about making some money on YouTube. And the reason why I say that is because your children know. And with my younger daughters, you know, my daughter's 12 and 8, they just still kicking up. My youngest daughter, man, she'd be flipping all around the room. And I'm like, hey, she was, oh, I want to go. I'm like, well, let's hold off. Let's go do soccer. Oh, man, I love soccer. Then let's go try. Oh, I don't want to play basketball. But again, she get into it, start hanging out with her little friends. Oh, I love basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they know what they're going to push you to do. And if she's going to say, hey, I'm going to push it, I'm all in. But that traveling, man, even though you got the money, it's time consuming where you could just kick the tires around the community. And then when they really being pushed and they're going to put that commitment, you got the resources. And then you incorporate your lifestyle and vacations. Because like Clarence said, dude, we would take 4 vacations a year doing a circuit. Go to Colorado, go to Florida, go to Orange County, Mississippi. I mean, places I ain't never go up to Dallas, go over to Vegas. We were doing the tours, man, and we would schedule our vacations around all major conference championships so we can get exposure. But it was the experience where I could show when we ain't playing ball. Oh, remember when we were up at the Colorado River whitewater rafting, doing a baseball tournament? You know how you come in 3 days in advance and you stay there for 8, 9 days. And we talk more about that than we talk about, oh man, you hit that home run.
Yeah. Hey, you know what we talk about, Dale, from Mississippi when the referee said, I don't know what y'all do up north, but this here is Mississippi. Hey, we took that L and went right on back across to Memphis.
In a hurry.
Real quick.
In a hurry, you hear me?
Then we called the directors like, hey, this is what they said. And they said, yeah, we just didn't have enough gyms over here. I was like, hey, we got up out of Mississippi as quickly as we could. But you know what? That's an experience that we know. And 20, that was like 20. Ooh, that was probably like 2015.
You know, it's funny, man. I ain't never want to step foot in Mississippi, and I find myself in Mississippi, and golf sport. Mississippi was right on the golf. It's beautiful, but I was like, dude, we getting up out here quick.
Yeah, man. Certain places, yeah, you need to
Mississippi still
go through it.
Hey, Leonard, I don't know if can you hear us, man? Because I know you got a daughter that's playing sports, don't you?
She wanted to. She's track.
Okay. That's what started this conversation with Ron.
Man.
He's conflicted. Help him out, preacher.
Hello, gentlemen. How's everything doing?
By the way, you got two IDs and one voice on one and video on the other, boy.
I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm special.
I don't know how it is. The man with all the assets and all the credit lines, he can't get his audio and his video right ever. He did it one time. We won the lottery that night.
Yeah, it was only one time, yo. One time, yo.
Hey, you know what I love, preacher? You consistent though. You consistent.
And that's what we were talking about. If you stay consistent, you won't have no problem. But yeah, she ran track. All of a sudden she got interested 1 year, and she said she wanted to run track, and I was like, all right, cool. She ended up making it all the way to state, and you know, did very well in state. And next year she said, I don't think I want to do it.
Wow.
Well, now was
so
you
she went to state.
Yeah.
Did well in state. You see what I'm telling you, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to know how you responded, because that's the question.
Yeah.
How do you respond to something like that?
I told her, I said, well, because, you know, after everything was over, a couple of her teammates actually went to World. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, you didn't make it there, but you can. Keep in mind, they've been running a whole lot longer than you. This was your first year. So don't beat yourself up. And at that time, she was like, all right, well, I said, just think about it. I'm not going to force you to do what you know you don't want to do. If it's something that you want to do, no problem. Then we'll make arrangements. And that's how I left it. I left it on to her, because I think when it boils down to it, if you don't have the passion, then all you're really going to be doing is wasting everybody's time. The parents.
I'm going to tell you guys a story. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said, because there's this fine balance. And it truly is an art of kind of the acceleration, meaning like, you know, being the wind behind your kids' back to kind of push them towards something, because again, they're still young and their young minds developing, right? So they don't know what they don't know. It's just that simple. Yep. And then there's the, okay, let me pump the brakes in that, let me allow them to kind of mature and make decisions for themselves. So for me personally, I've always kind of struggled with that, because I've seen it play out very differently in my best example. And that is my youngest cousin, who for some strange reason is my favorite cousin. And I tell him that all the time, because he happened to be the first baby that I held, right? So I've got like this special bond with him, and he was extremely gifted in music. So his dad asked him to play the piano and the trumpet, and he took a massive liking to the trumpet, extremely talented, right? And there was one day in high school where he said to his dad, I don't want to play the trumpet no more. And his dad was like, oh, that's not an option. You will be on the trumpet, right? Because that's your gift, and that's going to be the way that you fund your education, your college education. And he resisted it. right? But he ended up getting a full ride scholarship to a music school in New Jersey. And from that music school in New Jersey, he became this producer, right? And now he's worked with the likes of Justin Bieber and what's his name, Chris Brown, and he just sent me something else that he just did recently. And I always think to myself, what if his dad just let him quit? Would he have found something else? Right? Like, question, would he have found something else? Or could he have just like given up his passion, which he didn't see at the time because he was tired of practicing 4 to 5 hours a day and not being able to hang out with his friends and play basketball. But his dad saw beyond whatever his kid was missing at that moment and said, no, sir, son, you've got a gift. And Dale, to your point, you can hate me now, but you're going to love me later. Like, that's that fine balance that parents struggle with.
Well, I think, Ron, what you're saying though is the gift was there and it's manifesting. I think with your conversation, if you go back to earlier conversation, your daughter she's got gifts, but there's also some inhibitors inside of those gifts, right?
Yeah.
Because how many 5'2" volleyball players do you see on the
None?
You know, so nothing personal, you know, hey, guess what?
Yeah, I mean, come on, y'all.
If my son was 6'2", you would see him on TV right now. Because he's probably, every coach that he's had, even, you know, and I took myself out, has always said he was one of the most smartest and skilled players that they've seen around. But he's 5'10". Now, can you imagine him making it to the pros and then they say, go stick Kevin Durant?
Right.
It ain't gonna happen, you know. And so it's just a matter of no matter how good he is at 5'10", I think there's one player right now that's 5'10" in the NBA.
Yes,
and he's next level, you know, and that's it.
Exceptional. Yeah,
you know,
and to your point, Clarence, and that's what I mean. So that goes back to, you know, the underlying theme, which is parents are quicker to arrive at a destination through life experiences, right? And it's because the kids, they're just not mature enough at this moment. So when do we help them understand some of those inhibitors, but at the same time, we don't douse on their dream? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's the balance. Because one could say, hey, look, it really doesn't matter, because we all agree that most of our kids don't have the talents to make it to the professional level because the numbers say so. So if we understand that, is there harm in supporting whatever they want to do if it doesn't lead them to a college scholarship or the professional level? If you can afford to do it, why not just do it? Right?
From your perspective,
I agree with that, but
that's not a bad way to go.
Was your daughter was disappointed in her performance.
Yeah.
So my thing was, if you're disappointed, then did you outwork that person in their craft that they're doing just one and you doing multiples? And if you didn't outwork them and you ain't a super freakish athlete, then what are you complaining about? Did you perform your best when you stepped on that other, you know, side of the court? And for me, again, I teach my kids two things. I said, we do things athletically for two reasons. Number one, because we like it. Number two, because we want to be the best at it. So I don't want to be mediocre, just showing that I can play because I'm good. Here's the problem with anybody, no matter what income level they come from. A lot of times we're good at things because we can just pick it up. But what do we have the ability to be great at?
Ooh, that there is great, Dale.
And that's where you got to cut the line. And from a parent perspective, and if you are blessed that you have been around elite athletes, I think that's where we probably spoiled, because I've been around elite athletes my whole life. Growing up with Clarence, we had ballers.
Yeah.
A lot of people, Clarence, in our community, D1 type athletes. Am I lying, Clarence?
Oh yeah, they were turning down, especially baseball. They were turning down them little rink-a-dink $100,000 contracts.
Right. It's like they said, we were in a neighborhood. Like, what's that basketball school in DeMatha in Baltimore that everybody know, and people know Simeon.
Oh, yeah.
So in our community, literally, we had cats that could go D1 in baseball, D1 in basketball, D1 in football. We were literally, Coach and I were just talking the other day, Clarence, about when we played Tilden, played the MVP, state MVP of Illinois, and we whooped his ass in football. He came down to play in our community, and we put it on him.
Yeah.
And this dude was this Illinois State MVP.
Right.
That's crazy.
So sometimes you can be in a community, or they say like when you go to the DR and all these kids come from baseball from the DR and they go to the pros. Some areas you just gifted with a whole bunch of superstar athletes.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm able to have a perspective is, hey, I know who came out of my community. I know what I turned down, I squandered. So I can easily look at my child and say, look, yeah, you might be able to play soccer good and better than most.
Yeah.
But over here, you swimming, my daughter, she can swim like nobody's business, but she just likes swimming. I'm like, man, she's graceful and she's fast. Let's go. No, I don't want to do that. So again, what can you be great at?
Mm-hmm.
And that's in anything you do.
Yeah.
What can you be great at that you can focus? Because check it out. And here's what I always appreciate about white athletes. They'll play baseball and you don't even know they play football in another sport. And then when they don't get drafted, all of a sudden they get drafted in the other sport and playing at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have the ability as parents to be able to say, look, again, daughter, son, what can you be great at that you're going to be able to say, man, I was better than anybody because I had the ability to be great. I'm good over here, 3-4 different things, but what can I be great at? Because that's what they're going to remember you for a lifetime. In business, education, non-for-profits, sports, they're going to always be talking about you. So I teach my kids, hey, we do it, number one, because we like it. And number two, because we came to win, baby.
Yeah.
We have a mantra, Veni, Vidi, Vici, Latin. I came, I saw, I conquered. I didn't finish second because nobody remembers second place but you.
Right.
Now, if your second is the best you ever did, that's a W.
Right.
But other than that, second is first place loser. People don't like that. We don't live in a PC world. Everybody likes the winner. Everybody puts their foot down on the loser. Let's get it real. And I think if we bring that perspective to
second place trophies,
have rounded life.
You don't keep them runner-up trophies.
I mean,
I kept all mine.
Apparently, it's nothing but first place trophies in the house. Come on,
man, bro. I mean, these participation trophies nowadays. Oh my goodness! Oh, you showed up, you get a trophy.
Right.
I ran a tournament, and that was something they were like, we should have participation tournament trophies for everybody. I was like, no, we ain't doing it.
I agree.
The ones I liked best was the ones that only had first place trophies.
Right. Yeah, hey, you either won
would be mad,
or you got none.
But you know what, parents would be mad. They'd be like, well, I don't understand why they didn't have some trophy for the kids that didn't win.
Because the parents want the trophy.
Ooh.
They want to put up on their mantle.
No, they want to have their kids to where their kids are thinking they're fooling their kids into thinking.
Oh, that's another one.
When they're not.
Oh man, let's talk about that. Here's what I would teach my parents. I say, hey, you don't want to have that one day when your kid been a big fish in a little pond their whole life, and all of a sudden reality, and you will deflate them for the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. I see that all the time, dude. Yeah. All the time. They out here winning every tournament. Who you playing against?
Right.
Step up your game.
Yeah.
And then when they had that moment, or Ron, when that coach says, hey, you know what? This is about furthest you're going to be able to go at this craft. It's better not to get that shock value than they, again, have the reality perspective. It's not dampering their dream. It's just saying, hey, daughter, hey, son, here's what I think your potential is in this lane if we put this work in. And I teach my kids this. I said, when people compliment you on your talent, say, hey, I thank you for acknowledging the masterful skill that my parents and my coaches helped me develop. Emphasis on nothing about my talent. What you see on display here are skills.
Yeah. Well, you know, Dale, what I used to teach our kids is we should always try to get the best that we can get at that moment. So like when you would go to AU tournaments, they would have gold, silver, and bronze. And you would drop from the gold down to the silver, down to the bronze. Well, when we first got there, guess what? We going for the gold. Now, you know, again, we weren't always the best team. So we might drop down to the bronze bracket, Well, if we're in the bronze bracket, it's like, look, we need to win this bronze bracket. This is the best we can get. And sometimes they'd be like, well, man, it's the bronze bracket. And I would always teach the kids, get the best that we can possibly get. And for me, that's a life lesson. So if I'm in business and I can't get the multi-million-dollar contract because the big boys that have always gotten the contract because they're politically connected, they're getting the $1 million contracts, and I can't get that. First of all, I'm gonna go for it. But if I can't get it because guess what? I'm not even in consideration of them top three. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to them top three, and I'm gonna become a sub, and I'm gonna try to get 2, 3, 4 million out of that business. So that's a life lesson for us. Is for me at least, to teach the kids is get the best that you can possibly get.
You know what? I agree with you. On that note, we're going to take our last break, and then we're going to come back and close out. Again, you are watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. And we're talking about relationships, but more importantly, we're talking about how to navigate our children through the sports world from zero to college. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. This is DJ the Money Coach. Thank you for celebrating our 1-year anniversary with us. Thank you for the emails, the videos, and the phone calls. Most importantly, congratulations for the hundreds of people who actually acquired the course. Now it's time to take it to the next level. That's right, millionaire money made. I'm actually going to teach you live how to earn that 800 credit score through the Family Finance 101 course. I'm going to teach the live 3-hour course to you. That's right. After I do that, we're actually going to bring you 3 steps to success: business, real estate, and leverage the tax laws. And once we achieve that, we're going to show you how to earn with a little bit of investment in the market up to an 80% return, cash on cash return on your money. After we achieve that, we're going to show you how to earn with a minimum investment of $7,500, how to get you to $850 a month in passive income. On top of that, we're going to give you 2 live Zoom trainings with Leonard Ray, 7-figure Forex trainer since 2007, Clarence and Tanya, 7-figure income earners through real estate, over 200 properties they own, and retired at the young age of 40 and 42. All you have to do is register now. Hit that link below, and you'll become part of the Millionaire Money Making Made exclusively with Erica Williams and the Classic Climb, brought to you by DJ the Money Coach and the 7 Spheres of Money team. So don't you deserve to be a millionaire next door? Consumer debt free? Cash.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth, it's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Now, let's start the show.
Welcome back. You're watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. And this, we're going to close out this amazing session with these amazing brothers who are free. And actually, I've been informed that my friends, they retired at 35 and 39 respectfully. So I actually beat the commercial by 7 years each. So my bad. So, hey, we're having a lot of fun here. So we have, a 4-generational real men who are free, who are integrity-based. And I like to talk about an acronym called HIM, for humility, integrity, and real men. And the reason why we're bringing this show to you guys is because we want to debunk all this crap that's out on these social platforms. And we also want to debunk these fake experts and gurus as well. So on this show, you're going to get a real perspective. In order to be on this show, you got to be free. You got to be debt free. You got to have 6-figure income, and you got to be 100% your own boss. That's the requirements to get on the show. Now, the only one that's not right there is the apprentice, but he's going to be free here in the next 24 months because he is 800 credit score, right to cuss. He is consumer debt free because he's gone through our program. So, hey guys, let's rock this thing out. We're talking about, athletics with our children. When's the right time to actually give them a dose of reality without dampering their dream and actually supporting them and still giving them everything they deserve to have because we earned it. And I agree with what you said, Ron. I'm going to give my kids everything they possibly have, and all they got to do is rep that name on the back. And I think here's the problem, that if your child doesn't understand, the most important thing is that you lose money, you lost nothing. You lost a friend, you lost something. But you lose that name on your back, you lost everything. A man's word got to be his bond, and we don't get that in the world today, and especially in the sports world. I would like to be the same person, well, I am, that you see on this platform that I am in my private life, and that's not happening. So let's wrap it up about this sports and encouraging our kids to be the best they can be rounded, play sports, play musical instruments, speak multiple languages, and just enjoy life. Because at the end of the day, you're right. They're supposed to start their life where we finished ours, not press reset. So who want to chime in to help us close this bad boy out?
It's a good question. So here's what I would say.
And then we answer your question that you first led the show with, Ron.
Yeah, and that's how I was going to wrap it up. To your point, I was going to get to the perspectives that you guys provided were critical, and there were points that you made that I had not considered, which is why something like this is extremely important. It's so invaluable, because the reality is, as parents, we're doing the best that we can. And a lot of that information that we are sourcing to make decisions is information that we've pulled from our parents, right? And we all know that they lived a very different lifestyle than the ones we have today. So when you're able to surround yourself with individuals like us, who come from very different backgrounds, we live in very different states, we have very different educational upbringings, just all different points of view, and you listen to the various perspectives, then you feel better about your decision because you got all these variables in play, right? So yes, you answered my question. And some of the takeaways that I heard, which was, one is perhaps my daughter is mature enough to arrive at a decision on her own, right? And then two, it's important for parents to really assess their kids and help them understand where they're really at. And have the
That's
courage.
a great nugget, bro. Great nugget.
Yeah.
Go finish. I just chiming in. Great nugget.
Yeah. And encourage, and then have the courage to kind of table that discussion in a way that they hear and understand that, right? And then three, there is some life experiences by allowing your kids to even participate in these types of activities, even though it may not lead them to the professional level, because they gain friendships, right? We get to travel the country and experience different things we wouldn't had they not participated in like an AAU sport, right? And then the fourth thing, which personally, I'm starting to realize, it's not about me. It really isn't. It's really about the kids and making certain that they have a good breadth of experience and that they enjoy the sport. But at the same time, if you decide to participate in that sport, Dale, I need everything. Like, give it to me. Let's not hold back. Let's be committed to it because you signed up. So see it through and give me your best. So gentlemen, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate the feedback, man. And I'm looking forward to having this conversation with my daughter. I really am.
You know what? I know Clarence about to say something. Here's what the great thing about this medium and this platform is, that we don't realize that we all have universal experience. And if you don't get counsel from your peers in the BK1, and I'm sure in the Quran it says as well, a man or a woman who counsels themselves is a fool.
Yeah.
And I think in our community, that false bravado, the machoism is that, oh, I'm a man, but you're not really a man. You're a boy in a man's body because you don't have the humility to take counsel from somebody else. Another thing is, if you're the smartest person in your group, you're in the wrong group.
Your room is way too damn small.
I know you about to chime in, Clarence, so go right ahead. I just wanted to add that little piece while
Yeah, I was
we're
going to say,
head.
you know, from just as a just to kind of confirm your one of your points there, Ron. Dale and I probably, if it wasn't for sports, we might not have been friends all these years, because that's kind of where we kind of met. Because even though
I was thinking the exact same thing, Clarence. I was like, "There's no way I would have known you if we didn't play football together and start hooping against each other."
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I mean that really played a role, because it used to be, you know, downhill versus uphill, and you know, Dale was small, so we used to rack him up. He ain't gonna never.
Hey, Ron, don't believe it. Okay, I got another Latin stand for you. Arbus said potens, small but powerful. Now, Clarence, no, I didn't take hardly no L's in that community. Come on now.
Well, you know, he didn't take a lot of L's, but he took a lot of hits though. But
I might have got hit, but I was coming with them dubs.
But
that's one reason why we friends, because I did not stop. I was like that little pit bull.
He was too.
Once I got started until I won, I did not quit.
Hey, Dale get hit, guess what? He be on the ground hurting. He ain't gonna let you know he was hurting. I can only imagine some days he went home and was like, "Mama, they hurt me," but he wouldn't let us see it. you know, so, but at any rate, I just want to say again to all the parents out there, definitely the experience. You can give your kids the experience through the travel or whatever. It's a good thing, but enjoy the ride. You know, don't be the parent Zilla that's out on the sideline arguing with the coaches and all that kind of stuff. Because if you got to do all that, arguing with the coaches to get your kid time and all that, your kid probably ain't that good anyway. If you're trying to tell the coach what to do, you might need to get your own team.
Yeah.
But the big thing I want you guys to know, because again, I'm a little bit further ahead, I think, than all of you guys, and that is it comes to an end quicker than you guys think.
Yeah.
And when it gets there, even though Dale, you shaking your head up and down, your kids are still there. I got 5 of them, and you know, they right now, that big house that Ron talked about earlier that y'all see behind, it's like me and my wife, you know, and a big house, because all the kids, they're gone. And so Ron, enjoy this time that you're able to go to the 3 sports with your daughter. You know what I'm saying? Because pretty soon you're going to be looking back, and we're going to be back on this a few years from now, and you're going to be like, man, they gone.
Yeah.
You know, and
so Truth actually said that today.
You know, you want them to go because you want them to live their life, and the things that you taught them, you want them to go and experience, but they're going to be gone. And so that's something to really enjoy the ride. You know, I'm sure that one year Leonard had a great time going to the track meets. He was telling all his friends, that's my baby, you know, and it came to an end. Now Leonard is that crazy guy, by the way. The reason why, you know, he can't get his technology together, because he got one that was in high school running, and now he got a baby.
Right.
Now I have a young one running around.
Right. So you running track.
Right.
So I'm back on the track team right now.
Right.
You know what? Here's one thing I can share with you. Find a sport that you and your child can play together in your adult age.
Yeah.
Man, I got appreciation for golf. And this is a plug. Father's Day golf event, June 19th here. And dude, I look forward to that, playing with my son, just so we can still have something we can do and becoming good friends as we get older. But back to you. Back to you, preacher.
No, that's absolutely true. The sport I played in high school was tennis. And the reason why is because my father played tennis. Now, you know, tennis wasn't popular back in the day, but my father was good. Not like, you know, okay, good. Like, he was actually in tournaments and won. Like, I have the trophies to prove it. So when I got around my friends and, you know, I started learning tennis when I was in elementary school to another level where it took me places that I didn't think I can go. Now my daughter is like, oh, what's these tennis rackets? I'm like, oh, well, you know, it's this and this, but I'm giving her, it's kind of like I'm leaving breadcrumbs and I'm hoping she finds a way. And, you know, now she's like, oh, well, I see you watching, Serena. I see you, Naomi, all the stuff that's going on now in the tennis world, with all that drama stuff, and how they're letting the media or some people depict their mind. And when you're sitting there, and the parents and the fathers, the sacrifice that they did, the mothers, and they've built their kids up, and they're thinking they've reached this particular level, and now somebody who cannot do anything is going to downgrade them.
Right.
Venus Williams said the other day, and it was so prevalent. She said, "You know what? I can care less what you say about me, because everybody who's writing something or recording or whatever, 9 times out of 10, they can't hold a candle to me."
That's true.
And that literally was a drop the mic moment. And when it boils down to it, I'm like, they don't know the sacrifice. This isn't a journalistic conversation we're trying to have here. This is a sport. And when it boils down to it, the best, even though I may have not won a Grand Slam in years, the point is I still got the trophies, but most importantly, I still got the checks to prove.
And sure she got a check just for showing up.
Oh yeah.
And just for showing up. Yeah. Like when you look at certain sports, you don't have to be the best in the world to still win. I mean, God, take that tennis star, I'm gonna mess this Russian girl's name up. She can't win nothing. She couldn't beat Serena for nothing. But yet she's been
Sharapova.
Sharapova. But yet she's been one of the highest paid.
Oh, she had the biggest endorsement contracts.
Yeah. For the last 10 years. She ain't won nothing in 10 years.
And Serena be beating the brakes off of her.
Right.
The break.
So much so that she had to take steroids and got caught cheating.
Yeah.
And
And
she
yet
still
you
didn't win.
still
by the way.
losing, but yet the money is still rolling in.
Yep.
So, and the same thing with golf. Like, I just figured out, I'm like, you ain't even got a place in the top 10 and you still get a check?
Dude. Think about that. What if we had taken our baseball skills, because that's hand-eye coordination, and we would have been told about golf and got on the golf links at an early age?
Yes.
We ain't
we
had that
would
much
be
grass
killing
to it, man. We ain't had no grass, come on.
But that was
No, I'm
designed
just
that
kidding.
way.
Actually,
That
Kensington
was
Park would have been
designed that way, man.
Hey, man, if them brothers in the DR can play with bottle caps and on dirt roads, we could have golfed on the concrete, bro. That's funny you said that, because we used to play tackle in the street. You remember that, Claire?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Man, that was fun. But when you ran into that
Why the
car,
hell do we do that?
oh, dude, it was
Why
crazy.
in
Wasn't it,
the hell
Claire?
do we think that was fun?
Dude,
Hey, it was.
dude, we did some wild stuff playing sports.
What was it called? What is it? Killer Man? That's what we call it.
Oh, Killer Man, we did that too.
Yeah, that too.
Killer Man. So
the
you
back-
throw the
in the
ball straight
backyard.
up, you catch it, and everybody try to keep
Everybody. It made you tough, baby.
You better not come up.
ball in the middle of the street, getting upset when the cars come by.
You
Yeah,
better not get up to crying.
We're playing a game. Like, this is a street.
Oh, dude.
We ain't
Dude,
got no
I done ran into
bumpers,
parked cars,
no signs, no
light
nothing.
bulbs. Man, my mother used to be worried about me every day I walked out the door, not from getting jumped by somebody. Damn, who beating you up on the field? Oh, I ran into a light pole, Mom. Ran into a what? Stop lying, boy. Next I know, I'm getting a butt whooping.
That light pole already beat you. Now you're getting the butt whipping.
Real talk, man. Real talk. I can't make this up. Clarence, you can vouch for me, bro.
It's true.
Man,
Yo,
and you know what's so fun? We would be playing baseball during the day, basketball during the afternoon, and then we strap up for football.
Football at night.
Yep.
Under the lights.
Oh, dude, we used to have some fun, bro.
Yeah.
That's why they keep saying we are truly built different. I'm not saying anything about anybody else's generation,
Man,
but
they
we're
soft.
definitely built different, man.
They soft, bro.
We are
Come on.
built different, bro.
They soft like
Yeah.
baby food.
Because they don't even play basketball outside as much. Everything's got to be indoors. They worry
Oh
about
man,
their
I gotta have
league,
AC. I gotta have
Come on,
Gatorade. I can have a
Hey.
special shoe. Man,
Yeah,
dude,
come on.
Yeah.
That's another segment.
Yes, it
Is
certainly
it the
is.
shoes? Yeah.
Well, man, I think anybody else got anything to say? Because we're gonna wrap it up, and we're gonna let the quiet apprentice, chime in and put his 2 cents in, because he is the millennial to the preacher, to the OG. Shout out to Ron Harris, who got in early on time. Our bad. What you got? What you got, Nick?
Yeah, man. Hey, Ron. We used to call that game throw 'em up, beat 'em up. That's what we call it.
Okay, so beat 'em up.
Yeah. In the street,
Oh, dude, we be council culture. Throw 'em up, beat 'em up. Oh, who's bullying my kid?
yeah, man.
Did y'all play in the street though?
We
Y'all play in the grass.
Oh, both in the street and in the grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on. See, that's the suburban kid. The suburban kid. That's that suburban kid right there.
Yeah,
I mean, he get a little street cred. He played in the street. He get a little street cred.
Yeah. I mean, don't be mad because we had yards.
All right.
But yeah, man.
Hey, that's
Man, that was a mic drop.
Right. Tell him, Nick.
Come on, man.
Front yards and backyards.
My first was working. He had yards.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. But
wait. Before you say something, man, I'm telling you, the best sport we played used to be in his front yard, which is his backyard. Basketball on the tree with a bicycle rim, dude.
Oh yeah.
We run up the tree and dunk.
what? He said bicycle.
He didn't have a backyard. He had a front yard with this big old tree, and they put a bicycle rim with the spokes out. And dude, we would get it on.
Yo, that's
Craig, you gotta talk about that for a quick second. I'm sorry, Nick. Man, we was had some wars in this front yard.
Hey, man, that was that all-purpose one. Remember, we used to play the wiffle ball.
Oh yeah.
Then we'd play football. We used to have them styrofoam helmets. I don't know if y'all remember them. They were styrofoam.
That was the version of them leather helmets. We had them.
And you hit somebody with it, and you just fall out. I know we had this back then. Hey, but one cool story though. We had some of the old heads. Y'all remember this? Terry Cummins lived right around the corner from us.
Yep, sure did. Grew up right down the street from us.
Back when he went to DePaul, him and some of his boys would come down there, and because our yard was the place where everybody played basketball, they come in there. They trying to play regular basketball. We'd go on the tree like boom.
Come on, man.
Hey, they used to be mad.
Y'all killing me.
Hey, yep. So we had a potential NFL Hall of Fame, but in my front / backyard.
We had home court advantage, dog.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody came to his yard. We knew. Put him on him, bro.
Then we had my stairs. We were doing strikeout. Stairs.
Oh, dude. What was that? Dewdrop in strikeout box?
Oh yeah.
Oh, bruh.
Man,
that was my sport.
Hey,
yeah, everybody call it strikeout. Nick, did y'all call it
strikeout? To Pontiac, they had never seen it before, and I went and put it on a building, and me and my son was over there playing. It was like, "What y'all doing?" I was like, "Strikeout," and they was like, "Man, you just wrote on the building." We were like,
"Hey, you playing strikeout?"
Oh, bruh.
Man,
and you know what's so funny? We all pull together, get us 3-4 fly balls.
Yep.
And play. Oh my man, you talking about the most fun you ever had.
This is how I know age gets to you, man, because we used to jump off because anytime we hit a home run, it's on top of the building.
You got to go up on top of the building.
On top of the building, and then we jumping off the building, man, and just landing on our knees. Now, man, I could barely jump off 3 stairs without.
You looking at jumping, and your knees are already hurting.
But dude, was there no better feeling when you got all of that fly ball and ripped that home run? Whoa!
But Dale, when we really think about it, man, that was only like 30 feet, maybe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. it was a parking lot, and the street was the home run. But it seemed like it was 400 feet. I mean, real. But when you got there, it was like, oh yeah.
It literally was about 30 feet. So.
Yeah, it might have been like 20 feet, 20 yards.
30 sounds better. Shit.
Woo!
Well, hey,
Hey,
My bad. Nick, what you get?
We got so many stories.
Nick,
We don't let Nick talk.
Nick, go ahead, Nick. My bad.
Man, it's all good, man. I like that idea that we should definitely come back with this topic and talk about the the character that was built, from playing those sports, in the street and organized. They definitely built character. But I mean, just going back to the original conversation, I think that real conversation, with your children, in the way it happens, it's going to happen organically. It'll happen at the right time, at the right place, that's how it happened for me. And that's what it sounds like how it happened for, you all with your children. And man, but yeah, just going back. And I think, sports is important and it contributes to us becoming well-rounded. I would say sports was my first introduction into leadership. I was the captain of freshman basketball team. I was the captain of the cross country team as a sophomore. I was the captain of winter track and spring track, all through high school. And so I was able to, so that built my character and gave me those soft skills. And then also I was able to put that on my resume also, not that I just played sports, but I was also a captain. I held an official position, so I was able to put that on my resume when I was applying for college and scholarships and internships and things of that nature. So, I think that should be a part of the next sports conversation. Those skills that came with playing sports. Also the discipline, because especially in track, man, we're already coming in to the beginning of the season out of shape. But the coaches gave the hardest workouts the first 2 weeks of the season to weed out the weak links. You have a bunch of people that quit, after the first or second week. You'll be coming to practice the next day, the whole body sore, and still got to do a full workout. But sticking to it, and staying through it the whole, throughout the whole season, that definitely build character as well. So, so I'm just leaving the audience with, the importance of, getting your children involved in something and giving them a well-rounded experience. Because I forgot who mentioned it. I think it was Clarence that mentioned, music, the trumpet, I think it was. I played the trumpet for a couple of years in elementary school also, so that was something that also contributed to my development and made me, a more well-rounded individual, along with, the academics in school and my church activities and the activities I was doing with, with the city, with the mayor, my community service. So yeah, I just want to leave everybody off with the importance of, getting your children involved and having them constantly active, for all of those reasons.
Man, that makes sense. What you got for us, preacher? I mean, you're the only one that haven't closed out. What you got for us, preacher?
Hey, man, Nick brings up great points. I mean, like you said, it also gives you the ability to, I mean, for me, it was always the competition. One thing when my son, he didn't have the pleasure of going to a public school, so it kind of, when you're competing against a selected few who has to be there because they paid to be there, you're the best out of the paid individuals who paid to be there. So he didn't really have that drive, you know what I'm saying, that competition, or all right, well, I know I'm not better than so-and-so, or, I'm in the 9th grade and I'm junior varsity. How can I get to varsity? And that's kind of what that's that fire that brings out to you, because when you get into life, regardless of what's going on your job, on your, you know, your employment, your workplace, your business, you're constantly competing. I mean, you know, when you're choosing a mate, you're competing. You know, when it boils down to it, a girl ain't gonna holler at you. She's not gonna pick the worst. Like, that's like designed from like animal instincts. Like, you know, when you know, an animal chooses their mate, they look for the best qualities in that mate, and that's the one who gets all of the attention. Like, it is what it is. So if you are passive, if you are, oh, it's not really that important, you know, I'm not really, you know, in with that. I don't like, I'm competing on the inside. Like, all right, cool. Well, what you put out is probably what is left over. You know like, it probably is what's left over. You get the leftovers, man. You get the second and third place I participate trophy, because this is what it is. You know, I mean, not trying to be mean, but in life, it prepares you, like I said, it prepares you for a different level. And, you know, the winners are selected. And like, you know, and you said it earlier, you know, not because they have pure talent, it's the work ethic behind that. You know, if you are in your mind, like you sit there and you look at you know, some of the greatest athletes in the world, you know, Tiger Woods with golf, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you know, you're looking at Serena and Venus, you're looking at everybody who dominated a sport who looks like us. When it boils down to it, none of them ever said I did it on my own. They always said, you know, I had great coaches. So that means, yeah, they had pure talent, but they also put that work in. They also was probably there before the gym opened up, and then normally they're the last person who's leaving that joint. And in life, it's kind of the same thing. So if you are the first person to the office, owning a company and a business, I mean, you know, I've talked to Clarence when it's like 7 something in the morning, and, you know, him and his wife just getting started, and he's leaving out the house. And then I've also talked to him when it's 9, 10 o'clock, and they just barely rolling in. You're either the first one there, and most likely you're going to be the last one who leaves there. But it's that discipline, it's that self-respect. You know, it's what it boils down to. You know, and you got that because you showed up. I put something on my post the other day, and it says 80% of success is just showing up.
Man, real talk, man, dude. We're gonna have to do a part 2 to this because it can lead out to a whole bunch of things. So, you know, again, you're watching, you know, Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. And yes, ladies, we do have Bet on Black, the women, the family, and the legacies. Catch it every Sunday evening. I believe we come on at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and that's 5 p.m. Pacific time. And you're gonna find a breath of fresh air in these shows because we're all real, we're all free, and we all have worked our way to earn our freedom. Because guess what? Freedom ain't free. Freedom is not free. Whoever told you that, they lied to you, okay? And I want to say a shout out for Memorial Day weekend that just passed to everybody who served the country and for those who passed away in the wars to give us our freedom. Don't take freedom lightly. And I know the way this landscape is, they're trying to pit people against each other, but at the end of the day, we are the human race and there's only one race. But you should love yourself and you should love your people. Ain't nothing wrong with that, okay? Unapologetically about that. So for my host, moderator, Nick Westbrook, for my childhood friend, Clarence Archibald, my adult, friend of 20 years, Ron B., and my latest mentor and friend of 3 and 4 years, Mr. Preacher, as I'm going to call him, Leonard Ray. We thank you. And subscribe, like, and share this if you want to get the real truth unadulterated, but with integrity, with free people who can speak their true minds. And like always, we want you to have a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we would love for you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. And your beach doesn't have to be water or sand, but it's where you find your freedom and your peace and tranquility to be 100% you. I'm DJ the Money Coach. Thank you for watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy.
Right on.
Money, DJ the Money Coach. Shouts out to you, Malcolm, for the plug. Urban X family. If you're looking forward to investing, the first smart investment you're gonna make is in this webinar. When I say DJ the Money Coach has what you need, like it's worth it. Like I got so much information. I'm not saying I didn't think I would get any information, but I got way more information than I thought I needed, and I enjoyed speaking with the bankers and the lawyers about mortgage processing and business loans and LLCs. And like when I say like it's endless info, it's well worth it. Like I cannot wait for my consultation. If you missed this last one, I heard there's another one coming, so you might want to jump on that train. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys. Peace, family.
How you doing? My name is Malcolm Bowser.
And this is the Black Dot. DJ the Money Coach has been working with our Urban X family for at least 18 months. And in this 18 months, he has demonstrated his ability to lead those who are new to finances to those who are more advanced. What I like about DJ the Money Coach is that he takes his time, he makes his information understandable, and all of our nation, the Urban X Nation, has benefited from it. And even if you are advanced, he has programs that he designs just for you so that you too can benefit from his expertise. So we would like to thank all that DJ the Money Coach has done and what he has presented to us at Urban X.
And one thing I can say about DJ the Money Coach is that he's been super approachable to people within our community, and he's made information that would be otherwise intimidating to people within our community, like Roth IRAs, savings accounts, automations, and things like that, very easy to understand. And he's given us very actionable items to do, and I thank him for it.
And these are examples in real time and in real life. And we feel that the last frontier for us as a community to grow is economic independence, and DJ the Money Coach is leading the way.
Hey Black Dot, hey Malcolm, hey Urban X family. Just wanted to say thank you to you guys so much and DJ the Money Coach for offering incredible services. The webinar that you guys hosted last night was outstanding, so much so that I even bought a package during the webinar. I'm so excited for my future and to be living a pom-pom lifestyle. Again, thank you guys so much. I'm super excited. I'll see you guys at the next podcast. Bye.